The absolute worst thing you can do for your future right now is listen to the people who tell you to be realistic.
Everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you.
Being realistic is the most commonly traveled road to mediocrity. Why would you be realistic? What's the point of being realistic?
Don't listen to the naysayers. Everything I ever did, the thing that I heard out of people's mouth was, that's impossible.
Wealth is only created by the crazy ones who ignore the limits and build products that nobody else thinks are possible.
The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
If you're going to do anything new or innovative, you have to be willing to be misunderstood.
So I think it's important to start now. It's important to do things that you think are crazy.
If you let average people talk you out of your wild ideas today, you will spend the rest of your life full of bitter and painful regret.
Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice.
The biggest poison in us is regret.
I want to have minimized the number of regrets I have. And I knew that when I was 80, I was not going to regret having tried this.
Think about Steve Jobs. In 1976, he had $0 and was working out of his parents' garage. His friend Steve Wozniak built a computer circuit board just for fun. Wozniak wanted to give the plans away for free because that was the realistic thing to do. But Jobs was crazy. He told Wozniak they should start a company and sell the boards. They had no money, so Jobs sold his old Volkswagen van just to buy the first parts. Everyone thought they were nuts to take on giant computer companies from a dirty garage, but because Jobs ignored the realistic advice, he built an empire that completely changed the world. Now, you might be thinking that Steve Jobs was a rare genius and you're just an average person with an empty bank account. But Jobs started out returning glass bottles just to buy food. He was not born a billionaire. He just refused to let a lack of cash shrink his vision. You have the exact same potential inside you right now. To unlock that potential, I'm going to walk you through the ultimate $0 playbook inspired by one of the greatest entrepreneurs in history. If you've been here before, drop a hashtag Believe in the comments below so I can feature you here in a future video. And if you're new, welcome to Believe Nation, the only channel that helps you believe in yourself daily, one video at a time. Believe. Copy the rise, not the result. When you look at massive companies today, you see their shiny corporate headquarters, you see their thousands of employees, their massive advertising budgets. You look at what they are doing right now, and you try to copy it. And that is a massive mistake that will keep you broke forever. You have to copy the rise, not the result. So you must look at what your heroes did when they had $0 and zero team. So when Steve Jobs returned to Apple in 1997, the company was an absolute disaster. They were 90 days away from total bankruptcy. They had dozens of confusing products. They had different versions of the Macintosh, different printers, and a bunch of random software out there. The customer was completely confused. Jobs did not launch 15 new ideas to save the company. He walked into a meeting, drew a simple grid on a whiteboard with 4 squares, and changed everything. He cut 70% of the products and focused on just 4 things. He made 1 desktop and 1 portable computer for consumers, and 1 desktop and 1 portable computer for professionals. You need to do the exact same thing in your own life right now. If you're starting with $0, you cannot afford to have your attention split into 10 different directions. You cannot try to launch 5 different companies at the same time. You cannot try to master 10 different social media platforms all at once. You have to say no to almost everything so you can say yes to the one thing that actually matters. Multitasking is completely destroying your future. A major study by the American Psychological Association proves that switching between different tasks causes a 40% drop in your productivity. You need to pick one single problem to solve. Pick one product, pick one platform, go all in on that one thing. Build your momentum step by step. It takes a massive amount of energy to get the train moving, but once you have momentum, you become completely unstoppable. Focus is your greatest weapon when your bank account is empty. Build your empire with free technology. Right now, you are living in the greatest time in human history to be an entrepreneur. You do not need a giant bank loan to build your team. You do not need to hire expensive agencies or consultants. You have free access to artificial intelligence that can do the work of 50 people. This year, technology is the ultimate equalizer. Generative artificial intelligence is completely changing the world and is available to you for absolutely nothing. A major report by McKinsey estimates that generative AI will add up to $4.4 trillion to the global economy every single year. What does that actually mean for you today? It means you can use free AI tools to write your code, create your marketing plan, design your logos, and build your entire website today. You can build AI agents that handle all of your customer service while you are sleeping. You have to start using these tools immediately. Steve Jobs always believed that a computer was like a bicycle for the human mind. He believed technology should amplify your natural ability. That is exactly what you must do with AI right now. So stop making excuses about not having money to hire people. Use Gemini, use ChatGPT, use OpenClaw, use Notebook LM, use the free tools that are sitting right in front of you on your laptop. When you leverage technology properly, your $0 budget turns into $1 billion advantage. The winners this year will not be the people with the most money. The winners will be the people who use the free tools to execute their crazy ideas faster than anyone else. Design the ultimate customer experience. So you can't just build a product that works. You have to build an experience that people actually love. Steve Jobs was famous for combining technology with the liberal arts. He believed that engineering and math were simply not enough to win. He said it is technology married with the liberal arts, married with the humanities, that yields the results that makes your heart sing. So think about the early days of Apple. Steve Jobs dropped out of college, but he dropped in on a calligraphy class just because he thought it was beautiful. Years later, he put those beautiful fonts into the first Mac computer. He cared about how things looked and how they made people feel. You have to focus on the design of your business. How does your customer feel when they interact with your brand? You want your brand to be a powerful emotion. When people watch my content, I want them to feel belief. So think about what you want people to feel. Companies that obsess over design and customer experience completely crush their competition. The Design Management Institute ran a massive study over a 10-year period. They found that design-driven companies outperform the standard stock market index by 219%. You do not need money to care about your customer. You do not need a massive budget to make your product simple, elegant, and beautiful. Focus entirely on creating an amazing experience that your customers will never forget. Also, if you want to take real action after this video, I made a free worksheet just for you. It covers the top lessons from today, gives you space to write your biggest takeaways, and helps you build a simple action plan. It's 100% free. Just click the link in the description below to go grab it. I'll see you there. The power of quality thought over production value. People get completely stuck because they think they need a massive budget to start making content. You think you need a $5,000 camera and a professional studio to be taken seriously, right? And that's a complete lie. All you need is your phone and a really good idea. The quality of your thought will always matter more than the quality of your production. When I look at the most successful videos that I've ever made, they were not always shot in a fancy studio, and it's not because of the quality of the camera that I had. It was me sharing a message that people needed to hear. In fact, people trust you more when you look like a normal human being instead of just a polished, television commercial. A major report by Stackla found that 86% of consumers say authenticity is the most important factor when deciding what brands they like and support. So you have to stop worrying about having the perfect lighting or the perfect microphone. Steve Jobs built the first Apple circuit board in a dirty garage, not a billion-dollar laboratory. He focused entirely on the quality of the product, not the fancy environment around him. So you have to take that exact same approach to your business today. Use the free camera in your pocket to talk directly to your audience. Give them actual value, and they will never care about the background of your video. Say no to the good ideas. A lot of people think that getting rich requires having 100 billion ideas. The truth is actually the exact opposite. If you want to build an empire from nothing, you have to learn how to aggressively say no to almost everything. Steve Jobs famously taught that focus is not about saying yes to the thing you have to focus on. He said focus is about saying no to the 100 other good ideas that there are. The biggest threat to your success is not a bad idea. The biggest threat is the good ideas that distract you from your great idea. Good is always the enemy of great. When you have $0, you cannot afford to waste your energy chasing shiny new objects. You have to pick one lane and dominate it completely. A major global study by Startup Genome analyzed thousands of companies and found that losing focus and trying to scale too many things at once is the primary reason that new businesses fail. Because every time you say yes to a new side project, you are stealing time and energy from your main goal. So you have to be incredibly ruthless with your calendar. Say no to the networking events that do not matter. Say no to the extra features that your product does not actually need. Keep your offering as simple and pure as possible. When you strip away all that noise, you are left with a crystal clear vision that your customers can instantly understand and trust. Start a business development show. You do not need 1 million subscribers to make $1 million. That is one of the biggest myths in the entire business world right now. You think you need to go viral to be successful, but going viral usually brings you the wrong kind of audience. If you want to make money with $0, you need to start a business development show. This is something we teach inside our Movement Makers program. The strategy is simple. You create a podcast or video interview series, and you only invite your ideal clients or referral partners to be guests on the show. You're giving them a platform to share their story. Nobody's asking these people for interviews, so they're incredibly flattered, and they often say yes. You'll spend an hour with them building a real relationship and showing them exactly how you think. This strategy works because you are delivering massive value to them before you ever even ask for a single dollar. You turn a cold prospect into a warm friend just by shining a spotlight on them. You do not need a giant audience for this to work. If you do an interview with 50 of your ideal clients and one of them signs a huge contract with you, your business is instantly transformed. Stop chasing random followers and start building deep connections with the people who actually want to buy what it is that you sell. Expect to suck at the beginning. The biggest reason that you're stuck right now is that you are terrified of looking stupid in front of your friends and family. You are a perfectionist, and your perfectionism is actually killing your greatest dreams. So you have to expect to suck at the beginning. When you try something completely new, you're going to be really bad at it at the start, right? That's just how life works. When I started on YouTube, it took me 350 videos before I was not completely embarrassed by my own content. I hated watching myself on camera. My lighting was terrible and my audio was awful, but I kept posting anyway. It took me 700 public videos until I actually inspired myself. Now, most people quit long before they ever reach video 700. Steve Jobs had massive public failures too. You only remember the iPhone and the iPad, but you forget the painful failures that came first. The Apple Lisa computer was a giant disaster that lost the company millions of dollars and failed in the market. He was even fired from the very company that he created. He started another company called Next, which also struggled to sell computers to everyday people. You have to stop hiding behind your lack of money and your fear of judgment. Go make your first piece of content today. Build your first ugly prototype right now. Do the work and expect it to be terrible. The only way you get better is by putting in the repetitions. Your fear of failure is not a good enough reason to stop trying. You got to get out of your head and just take the first step. The first step is always the hardest, but is the only way you will ever build true momentum. Turn your pain into your purpose. So you need a massive reason to wake up every single day and fight for your business. Making money is important, and you absolutely need it to survive, but it can't be your number one goal. If money is your only goal, you will quit the second things get really hard. Your true purpose always comes from your deepest pain. Think about the hardest moments in your entire life. Think about the things that you struggled with the most. Now build a business that helps other people survive and get through the exact same struggle. You are built to serve. You want to wake up every day feeling like your life actually matters to somebody else. To do this effectively, you have to put yourself out there. You have to become the fearless face of your brand, right? So this year, people do not buy from faceless, boring corporations anymore. They buy from real human beings that they can relate to. A major study by Brand Frog discovered that 82% of people trust a company more when the leader communicates directly on social media. So you have to tell your story. Tell people why you started this journey in the first place. Use your empty bank account as a powerful badge of honor. Show your audience the raw, unfiltered truth of your daily grind. When you share your heart and your struggles, you build deep, meaningful connections that no amount of money could ever buy. So stop waiting for permission and start serving your community. When? Right now. Borrow belief until you have your own. The single biggest problem in the world right now, I think, is that people just do not believe in themselves enough. You have massive world-changing potential locked inside of you, but your environment is holding you completely back. If you are surrounded by negative people who tell you to be realistic, then you need to cut them out of your life immediately. You must Fiercely control what you feed into your mind every single day. Start your morning by listening to people who inspire you to take massive action. I call it the believe walk. Wake up, get outside, 15 minutes, put on something that inspires you. You can borrow their belief until you have your own. When I'm struggling, I look at the stories of famous entrepreneurs who started with absolutely nothing. I look at Steve Jobs. Returning glass bottles just to buy a meal. I look at the giants who changed history from a dirty garage. If they can do it, you absolutely can too. You have to protect your mindset like your life depends on it. So stop scrolling through negative news that drains your energy and start consuming content that makes you want to get to work. Build a daily routine that fills you with belief and courage. You are just one video, one idea, or one brave decision away from completely changing your entire life. You have everything you need right now. Even if your bank account is absolutely zero, you just have to decide that you are going to win and take the first step today. Your next step to greatness. Never let anyone tell you that your dreams are too big for your current reality. You have greatness inside of you, and it is finally time to let it out. So keep taking massive action, keep pushing forward, and never give up on your vision. And congratulations, you're one video closer to who you're meant to be. Believe. Now let's learn why you're smart, but not successful. Your intelligence is the reason you're not successful. Being smart might actually be holding you back. Every day I see brilliant people with sky-high IQs lose to others with half their talent. Why? Because intelligence alone doesn't automatically translate to results. If you keep letting your smarts run the show, you'll watch those average people, the ones who show up consistently and push through, leapfrog right over you. And the worst part? The world misses out on your genius. The woman who should have cured cancer might be stuck in a dead-end job because she didn't believe in herself or take action. Think of the tortoise in the hare, the fast, cocky hare, the smart one. Took a nap, thinking he had the race won. The slow but steady tortoise kept going and crossed the finish line first. In real life, too many smart people act like the hare, so confident in their brain power that they get complacent or overcomplicate everything, while the less assuming tortoises quietly grind out the win. Being the hare might feel good at first, but it doesn't win races. I learned that the hard way. In my early 20s, I had a shot at a life-changing deal, selling my first company for millions of dollars. I was trying to be the smart kid with a detailed plan, and I overplanned everything. I spent months crafting the perfect business plan instead of actually doing something. And guess what happened? A big company came looking to buy businesses like mine, but we weren't ready to move. It came down to my company and our biggest competitor, and we lost. And that competitor of ours got bought for $40 million while I was still polishing my plan. $40 million! That stung. I could have sold my business for $40 million, but I missed my shot because I was being too perfect. That failure woke me up. I realized my smart plan was really just fear in disguise. Fear of making a mistake. Fear of it not being perfect. Perfectionism is really just fear. We call it diligence, but really, you're just scared. I decided to become a recovering perfectionist after that. Now, when I get a great idea, I force myself to act on it immediately before my brain can come up with 20 reasons to wait. I learned that a half-assed plan that you actually execute is better than a perfect plan that stays in your head. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, Evan, are you saying I should stop being smart? Am I supposed to dumb it down to succeed? No, I'm not saying abandon your brain or act recklessly. I'm saying you have to change how you use your intelligence. Right now, your smarts are running the show and running you into a wall. You probably pride yourself on being the smartest person in the room, but is that working out for you? If you're so smart, why aren't you where you want to be? The truth is, raw intelligence without execution gets you nowhere. You have to get out of your head and into action. Being smart is a gift, but if you don't pair that gift with courage, with discipline, with hustle, it will absolutely hold you back. Don't let your ego or fear of not looking smart keep you from growing. The only thing worse than being seen as not smart is being full of potential and never actually achieving anything. So yes, keep your intelligence, but put it to work for you, not against you. So let's talk about how to fix this. Let's turn your intelligence into an asset instead of a liability. Here we go. Why smart people struggle with success and how to turn it around. Number one, you overthink everything. Smart people can get stuck in analysis paralysis. Your brain sees 20 angles to every problem. You can imagine every possible outcome, and all that analysis leaves you spinning in circles. Sound familiar? You plan and you plan and you plan, and nothing actually happens. Meanwhile, someone with half your brain power just picks a direction and goes. They get results while you're still in your head. Here's the deal. Thinking about doing something and actually doing it are completely different things. No matter how brilliant your idea is, you must act on it. Studies in cognitive psychology even show that excessive deliberation can lead to worse decisions because you start second guessing yourself and overcomplicating simple choices. So what's the solution? Decide and go. Give yourself a deadline to make a decision and then execute. Trust your intuition and start moving. You can adjust course as you go. Remember, real progress happens in the real world, not in your head. Don't let overthinking murder your momentum. Number 2, you're chasing perfect and it's slowing you down. This was my curse. In school, you might have been the kid who got A's, who set super high standards. In life and business, those high standards can actually cripple you. You rewrite the opening chapter 7 times and never publish the book. You tinker with your product endlessly because it's not good enough yet to launch. Guess what? Perfect is the enemy of progress. Successful people execute and then iterate. Unsuccessful smart people keep polishing a draft that never sees the light of day. Here's how one entrepreneur put it: you can't refine what doesn't exist. You can improve a product that never launched. Average performers often beat perfectionists because they're willing to put out good enough and then improve later. My own $40 million mistake was due to perfectionism. I waited and wanted the perfect plan, and I was too late. Learn from my mistake. Launch messy. Embrace mistakes. Done is better than perfect. And remember that urge to be perfect? It's really fear. Perfectionism is fear in a tuxedo. It looks respectable, even admirable, but it's killing your success. So punch fear in the face by putting out your work, flaws and all. Progress beats perfection every time. Number 3, you rely on talent instead of work. This one stings, but I've seen it so often. Things come easy for you, right? School, jobs, picking up new skills. You're used to being the best with minimal effort. Meanwhile, others had to grind to get good. And the result is you never develop the discipline and habits that success actually requires. Maybe you breeze through school without studying, so you never learn how to truly study or struggle. You prided yourself on pulling off last minute miracles or acing presentations with no prep. And it worked. Until now. So when you finally hit something hard, something that doesn't come instantly, you stall or quit because you don't have the tools or grit to push through. Psychology research backs this up. People who think intelligence is fixed tend to avoid challenges that might prove them wrong. But those who believe abilities grow with effort are the ones who persist when things get tough. So natural talent might open the door, but discipline, resilience, and grind get you to the finish line. If you've coasted on talent, it's time to be humble and get to work. Being smart is not an excuse to be lazy. Embrace the beginner's mindset. Push yourself to do the uncomfortable drills, the boring repetitions, the late night study sessions. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Every single time. Number 4, you get bored and lose focus. So let's get real. Highly intelligent people get bored easily. Your brain craves novelty and big ideas. Once you figure something out, doing the actual work feels tedious. You love planning the project, but hate the day-to-day grind of executing it. And I get it. But here's the reality. Most success is built in the boring middle. The book that you want to write, 5% is the exciting idea, and 95% is sitting down day after day, banging out words or editing. And that business you want to build, the concept is thrilling, but actually building it involves 1,000 tedious tasks, paperwork, and emails, and routines. Not exactly fun or intellectually stimulating. The smartest people often struggle here. Isn't this work beneath me? No, this work makes you. Consistency is the secret weapon of the average. Those who succeed are willing to do the uninspiring stuff consistently without constantly questioning, is this worth my genius? If boredom is killing your momentum, fix it by reframing the boring stuff as a challenge. Can you show up and execute even when it's not exciting? That's your new game. Also, systemize your life. Build routines and accountability that keep you moving forward even when you're not feeling it. The ability to do boring things consistently is incredibly valuable. Master it and you'll leave the dabbling geniuses in the dust. Number 5, you live in theory, not reality. Smart people often fall in love with theories and big picture ideas. You might design elegant strategies in your head, craft perfect models of how things should work. But then here's how things do work in real life, which is usually much messier. If you're too attached to the ideal scenario, you can become disconnected from actual reality. So for example, You might refuse to launch a product until you understand every aspect perfectly, or you insist on a plan going exactly as imagined, and when it doesn't, you freeze. Meanwhile, less brilliant people are adapting on the fly and they're getting results. So what's the fix? Embrace reality and adjust. Don't let your beautiful theory stop you from getting your hands dirty. Maybe your strategy should be tweaked. That's fine. Maybe your hypothesis was wrong. Learn and you pivot. Actionable data comes from the real world, not the daydreams. So don't wait for conditions to match your mental model. Get out there, try stuff, and adjust to the feedback. Remember, your ability to learn and adapt beats your ability to pontificate. Stay grounded and stay flexible. Number 6, you undervalue emotional intelligence and help from others. Success is not a solo brain game. It's a team sport. If you're brilliant but can't work with other people, you're going to hit a ceiling fast. Maybe you've told yourself, others just slow me down, or no one can do it as well as I can, right? Classic smart person trap. The truth is, someone with average IQ but great people skills will outrun a genius who alienates others. Businesses, careers, life, they all run on relationships. If you struggle to communicate, to collaborate, or to ask for help, that's a major blind spot. And I used to try everything alone and not admit weakness. It nearly broke me. I was too embarrassed to tell anyone that I was struggling. And that loneliness almost made me quit. I learned that if you don't ask for help, you end up stuck and isolated and far more likely to fail. So don't let the pride or social awkwardness sabotage you. You don't have to be an extrovert or the life of a party. I'm not. Just develop the skills to connect and communicate. Listen more. Be curious about others. Find mentors and accept their advice. If you lack some of the soft skills, learn it. Being smart means you can grow here too. Remember, being right isn't enough. You have to bring others along if you want to do something big. And if you have a big dream, you'll definitely need others. So start valuing emotional intelligence as much as book intelligence. It's not soft. It's the glue that holds your success together. Okay, now let's bring this home. We've identified the traps: overanalysis, perfectionism, coasting on talent, lacking of follow-through, living in theory, and flying solo. These are natural tendencies of a powerful mind, but if you leave them unchecked, they become big barriers. The great news is you can overcome each one. Self-awareness is step 1. If you've nodded along or winced at any of these points, you're already learning where to improve. Step 2 is to work with your tendencies instead of against them. Build systems and habits to counteract your weak spots. For example, if you know that you overthink, set strict deadlines or accountability partners to force action even when you're in your head. If you're a perfectionist, set good enough goals. Deliberately release version 1.0 of a project when it's 80% there. Just to prove to yourself the world doesn't end if it's not perfect. If you get bored, gamify the process or tie boring tasks to a deeper mission that actually fires you up. Practice doing things before you feel fully ready for them. This starts to train you to gather real-world feedback. And if going it alone is not working for you, find a coach, a community, a partner who can push you and keep you accountable. And most of all, shift your identity. Don't see yourself as the smart one. See yourself as the bold one, the action taker, the lifelong learner, the resilient fighter. Yes, you're smart. So use that brain to strategize ways to get out of your comfort zone instead of clever excuses to stay in it. My mom used to tell me, if you have the ability, you have the responsibility. If you can, then you must. And that hit me hard and stays with me. Your intelligence is a gift, not just for acing tests or impressing people, but for making an impact. If you're capable of more, you owe it to yourself and the world to do more. I know there's genius inside of you. Everybody has what I call Michael Jordan level talent or genius at something. Don't let it go to waste because of fear, laziness, or ego. Break the patterns. Do the uncomfortable work. The world needs what you have, and you deserve to fulfill the measure of your potential. Now let's learn a brutal truth about learning one skill that will make you wealthy. You will never become wealthy without mastering one skill. You were told to be well-rounded, but that guarantees you'll be a jack of all trades and master of none. And if you keep dabbling in everything, you'll stay busy but broke while someone else becomes the best and claims all the rewards. Warren Buffett had to conquer a crippling fear before he could become one of the richest people on the planet. He was so terrified of public speaking in college that he would literally vomit from anxiety. Buffett knew that if he didn't master public speaking, none of his other talents would matter. If you can't communicate, it's like winking at a girl in the dark. nothing happens. So he invested $100 in a Dale Carnegie public speaking course, and it transformed his life. In fact, Buffett says that honing communication skills is the one easy way to boost your worth by 50% overnight. The proof hangs on his office wall, not his college diploma, but his Dale Carnegie certificate from 1952, the symbol of the skill that made everything else possible. He felt the same pressure that you're feeling right now, the fear of stepping out of your comfort zone to learn that one skill that changes everything. When I was 19, I had to make the hardest decision of my life. Take a prestigious, high-paying job or stay with my own struggling startup that paid me $300 a month. I chose my company and immediately fell into the lowest point of my life. I worked 12-hour days and still felt worthless and ashamed because nothing was working, and finally hit my breaking point. One night, I told my business partner, I'm done. I quit. I was ready to give up on my dream and crawl back to the safe path. But the next morning, I felt a new fire. I realized I could handle failing, but I couldn't live with quitting on myself. So I gave my dream one more shot. I started desperately looking for answers, studying how Bill Gates built Microsoft. I learned that Gates' first big break came from a partnership deal. He mastered the skill of selling through partnerships. That was his move. So I stopped cold calling customers and started modeling Gates. I began reaching out to potential partners, and within a few weeks, I closed my first big deal of my life. That one partnership brought in more revenue than we had made in years. We went from nearly going bankrupt to getting acquired. I was this close to giving up entirely, but learning and applying one new skill under pressure saved my business. I felt the fear, I hesitated, but I acted anyway, and it changed everything for me. Now, maybe you're thinking, sounds great, but I'm not a natural at any one thing, or won't I limit myself if I focus on just one skill? That is exactly the fear that's keeping you stuck. No one starts as an expert. Buffett was terrified of speaking. I was an introvert who didn't know how to sell. Skills are learned, not born. Science shows your mind and abilities are far more malleable than you think. And focusing on one thing now doesn't limit your life. It's what will finally unleash your potential. So let's get practical and break down the brutal truth about learning that one skill that will make you wealthy. The one skill that will make you wealthy: communication and persuasion. Ask any self-made millionaire and they'll admit a harsh truth. Being great at one skill beats being average at a dozen. In fact, when 20 ultra-successful people were asked which single skill had the biggest impact on their success, every one of them gave the same answer: sales and persuasion. Why? Because if you can't convince others, you can't close clients, you can't inspire your team, you can't attract investors. Nothing happens until a sale is made. Communication is the ultimate wealth building skill. Warren Buffett flat out says that improving your ability to communicate in writing and speaking can increase your value by 50% instantly. Sir Richard Branson, billionaire founder of Virgin, calls communication the most important skill any leader can possess. It makes the world go round by allowing you to share ideas and inspire action. And research backs this up. 85% of your success comes from your people skills, your communication, negotiating, leading, and only 15% from technical knowledge. You could be a genius coder or a brilliant inventor, but if you can't convey your vision or persuade others to join you, your impact and your income will be limited. So, what one skill should you learn? Start with a skill that multiplies all others: communication. This means mastering how to sell, how to speak, how to write, how to listen. Every entrepreneur needs to sell, whether it's selling your product, your business plan, or simply selling yourself and your ideas. Even billionaire Mark Cuban stresses that knowing how to sell was key to his success. And finance guru Robert Kiyosaki said the number one skill of an entrepreneur is the ability to sell, not just products, but yourself and your vision. The bottom line is your net worth is tied directly to your communication skills. If you hone the art of persuasion, doors open, clients say yes, investors sign on, employees rally behind your mission. It's the force multiplier for your wealth. Still not convinced? Think about the people that you admire, the greatest leaders and business titans, whether it's Elon Musk or Steve Jobs. They all became world-class communicators in their own styles. They learned to tell stories, to influence, to rally people. If you feel sales is a dirty word or public speaking isn't your natural strength, we need to rewrite that story. These are learnable skills. Remember Buffett throwing up from his nerves, and then remember that he became a folksy, confident communicator that is beloved by millions. You can learn this. Pick one aspect of communication, for example, closing sales calls or public speaking on camera, and decide to get exceptionally good at it. It will make more difference to your bank account than any minor skill ever could. Focus, depth, beats breadth. Becoming wealthy means becoming exceptional at something. The marketplace only rewards the top few percent with massive wealth, and to join those ranks, you need laser-like focus. The truth is that being world-class in one area obliterates being pretty good in many. There's a reason Bruce Lee said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced a kick 10,000 times." Mastery is intimidating. Mastery earns disproportionate rewards in almost every field. A superstar earns more than 100 competent people combined. The best salesperson in a company often outsells the entire bottom half of the sales force. The top 1% of entrepreneurs in an industry capture most of the profits. This is a winner-take-all world, and the winners are those who do one thing to the extreme. And that's the brutal truth. You can't be casually great. You have to choose your arena and pour yourself into it. It's not about working more hours. It's about directing your energy to the highest impact area and saying no to everything else. Steve Jobs put it best. Focus is about saying no to the 100 other good ideas. When Steve Jobs returned to Apple, the first thing he did was slash projects. He understood that chasing too many ideas would dilute excellence. The same applies to your personal growth. Every skill or opportunity you don't pursue is actually a win because it protects your focus for the one that matters. Look at any elite performer, athletes, artists, CEOs, and you'll find an insane level of focus behind the scenes. They're not just dabbling, they're obsessing. Studies on expert performance shows that intense, narrow focus is the only way to reach an elite level. You cannot accidentally become an expert while multitasking on 10 things. You have to go all in. That might mean sacrificing hobbies, saying no to social engagements, or turning down shiny business opportunities that distract from your main thing. It will definitely mean enduring boredom and repetition, but that's the price of admission for the wealth-making skill. But the good news is that focus is a skill in itself. You get better at focusing the more you practice it. So start building your focus muscle by cutting one distraction today. Carve out time for your one skill and protect it ruthlessly. It might feel like you're giving up variety, but what you're really doing is trading short-term breadth for long-term breadth. Once you master one thing, you'll have the resources and credibility to explore other interests later on. As the saying goes, you can do everything you want in life, just not all at once. So choose the one that will be your foundation. Depth beats breadth every time. Next, practice with purpose. How to master your skill. Deciding to focus on one skill is step one. Step two is putting in the work day after day to actually become great at it. Here's where many people fail, but not you. You're going to approach practice like a pro, not a hobbyist. That means using deliberate practice, the kind of focused, feedback-driven practice that builds champions. It's not about doing more hours mindlessly. It's about how you use your hours. According to psychologist Anders Ericsson, deliberate practice is a very specific process. It's a laser-focused activity. You isolate the sub-skills you need to improve, push yourself just beyond your comfort zone, and get immediate feedback. It requires intense concentration, and it's often mentally exhausting. It's not always fun, but it works. This is how concert violinists and chess grandmasters and Olympic athletes are made, and it's how you will become a master of your chosen skill. Regular practice might maintain your skills, but deliberate practice is the only way to reach expert level and break past plateaus. So embrace that fact now. If it feels easy, you're not growing. So what does this look like for you, the entrepreneur honing that one wealth building skill? Let's get practical. Start by scheduling daily deep work. Block out time on your calendar every single day to work on your chosen skill with full focus. Consistency beats intensity. 30 minutes of focused practice every day trumps a 5-hour cram session on a random Saturday. By making it a non-negotiable routine, you're training your brain that this is who you are now. World-class communicators, for example, often practice their speeches or sales pitches for hours, tweaking every tone and word. Treat your practice time like an important meeting that you can't miss. Over time, these daily improvements compound into mastery. Next, target your weaknesses. Don't just do the easy stuff that you're already good at. Deliberate practice is about attacking your weak points. If you're learning to sell and you're great at talking but bad at listening, spend your practice sessions role-playing, listening, and asking questions. If you're working on public speaking and you always mumble the conclusion, rehearse just the final 30 seconds 20 times in a row. This approach is supported by research. Practitioners focus above all on what they can't do in order to improve. It will be uncomfortable to confront your flaws, but that's exactly where your growth lives. Next, get feedback and track progress. You need a way to measure whether you're improving or not. That could mean recording your sales calls and critiquing them, or getting a mentor or coach to review your performance. Have metrics if possible. For example, your conversion rate on sales calls or the number of ums in your speech, and aim to reduce them. Deliberate practice thrives on feedback. No feedback, no improvement. So find a way to get instant input on how you're doing and keep track of it. What gets measured gets improved. Next, embrace the suck. There will be days when practicing your skill feels like slamming into a wall. Good. That means you're on the edge of your capability, exactly where you should be. Remember the study of elite violinists. The exercises that improved performance the most were rated as the least enjoyable. The top performers in any field learn to love the plateaus, to tolerate the frustration of slow progress because they know a breakthrough is coming. So when you hit a resistance, a boring drill, a failed attempt, a rejection, don't shy away. Lean in. This is the part that 99% of people can't handle, which is why 99% of people stay average. You're forging resilience. Every time you struggle and don't quit, you're strengthening your identity as a master in the making. Next, model the best. Seek out people who are already world-class at the skill that you're developing. Watch what they do. Read their biographies or interviews. Watch their videos. Success leaves clues. If you want to be a great negotiator, study Chris Voss or read about how Jack Ma negotiated Alibaba's early days. If you want to be a charismatic speaker, analyze talks by Tony Robbins or Les Brown. Steal their techniques shamelessly and practice them until you make them your own. Mentors and role models can cut your learning curve dramatically. I turned my business around by modeling Bill Gates' partnership strategy. I let someone who'd already solved the problem that I was facing show me the way. You can do the same in any field. Next, never stop learning. The journey doesn't end when you become good at your skill. The truly wealthy keep upgrading their skills continuously. Elon Musk taught himself rocket science by reading textbooks. Warren Buffett at age 90 still spends 80% of his day reading to deepen his knowledge. The richest people on earth never stop learning, because the moment you stop, you stagnate. So adopt a growth mindset for life. Be forever a student of your craft. Stay curious, stay humble, and keep pushing yourself even after you start seeing success. This not only keeps you sharp, it also keeps you ahead of everyone trying to catch up to you. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every legendary skill was forged through hours and hours of unseen grind. You can do the same, but you have to be willing to pay the price in practice and persistence. It's not magic, it's a choice. Choose to put in the work when others won't. Choose to focus on improvement instead of just going through the motions. If you do that consistently, it is inevitable, truly inevitable, that you will rise to the top of your field. And when you do, wealth will no longer be a question of if, but when. Your next move. All right, you've watched the video, you've learned, and now it's on you. This is your moment of truth. Will you keep being interested in success, or will you commit to mastery? Decide on that one skill that will make the biggest difference in your business and make it your mission to conquer it. I know it's scary. I know it's hard, but you're here right now, proving that you have the hunger to improve, and that already sets you apart. So I'm proud of you for showing up, and now I'm proud of you for doing the work. Now get out there and make your move. To learn the 6 habits that made Steve Jobs an unstoppable entrepreneur, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there. Habits make or break you as an entrepreneur. Too many brilliant people never reach their potential because they never build the habits to match their ambition. If you ignore this, you'll keep struggling